I thought it might be wise just to send it over to a couple of people that I knew overseas, one in NBA and one in soccer in the Premier League, just to get their take on it and to make sure we weren't missing anything. So it's always nice to get some cross-referencing. And
thanks for jumping on, Burjo.
No worries, Benny.
I think everyone at the start of the year was excited to have you on board, but I guess no one knew exactly how important a performance manager would be in 2020. We're coming off a 4-day break to play Port Adelaide. How big a challenge is that?
It's a big challenge for two reasons. One, it's unusual in footy for that to happen, and we had a pretty tough game against Brisbane. And secondly, Port Adelaide are a really fit, strong team. You know, they're running really well. So so it's a big challenge on both accounts, really. The quality of the opposition, the fitness of the opposition, and the unusualness of only having 4 days. So it's an exciting challenge though. It's the things that you, as a performance manager, you actually enjoy.
We've got 5 games scheduled for 21 days. It is unheard of in AFL footy. Do you think the boys are prepared for that?
I do, yeah. We did a lot of work in pre-season and even the COVID sort of pre-season, we'll call it. So I think they're as prepared as anybody, and we'll find out. I'll let you know in 21 days on how prepared we were, yeah. You
have a background in soccer. I guess in soccer you do play off shorter breaks. Is that a positive that you've got that experience?
Yeah, I think from what I can tell around, the media and people were making a really huge deal of it, whereas this is quite normal in a lot of other sports, not just soccer, but NBA and baseball and things like that. And the shorter quarters now mean that the games are almost identical to soccer in terms of the physical output. Hopefully it's stuff that we've seen before, and I've been able to calm the players down that this is quite normal and this is not unique in any way, and hopefully offer them some insight as to how we can go about handling it.
I heard you've been chatting to a few people overseas. Have you been getting some advice on how to get the boys through this?
Yeah, when myself and Phil Merriman and Dave Watts and Dave Regan sort of put the program together for the team, I thought it might be wise just to send it over to a couple of people that I knew overseas, one in NBA and one in soccer in the Premier League, just to get their take on it and to make sure we weren't missing anything. So it's always nice to get some cross-referencing, we blinded our program, so there wasn't the actual loads in there, just the days that we were training, and they came back and particularly the Premier League guy was almost identical to what we had. So that gave us some confidence that we've got the right program.
Usually a week would be maybe a lighter session early in the week, a big main session midweek, and then a light run the day before the game. Is that going to have to be stripped right back in the next 3 weeks?
Yeah, it's much to the frustration of the coaches. I'm very much the fun police this week. So, we'll just have a light craft session today, and then tomorrow, with 1 day into the game, will be just a really light captain's run or demon day, and that's it. The coaches have got to do most of their sort of education through video and walkthroughs rather than actual training sessions.
So I think some of the concerns around the 5 games in 3 weeks has been too many kilometres in the legs, too much work. Stripping the training back, does that mean you're not as concerned by that?
Yeah, I think there's still some concerns, obviously, and we're only at the front end of it, so there might be, whatever I say here might come back to bite me, but we have done more work than what we think will happen in the next 3 weeks. So the boys, particularly in that COVID pre-season, they worked really hard those first 3 weeks of the 4 that we came back in order to prepare for this. Training will be stripped right back. We're hoping to still get maximum output in the games, and we'll see. We'll see.
We did see in the pre-season with the To Hell and Back documentary series a lot of kilometres in the legs. Does that give the boys confidence that they actually can do this?
Yeah, that's probably the biggest thing, is it does provide them with confidence that they've seen this before. December and January were both heavier than what's coming up. Yeah. The COVID pre-season was heavier than what's coming up, so they have seen it before, and it should give them confidence that obviously game's different to training, but in terms of kilometres in legs, they've got this no problem.
And we haven't had too many injuries just yet. Maybe the odd fractured cheekbone or
things that mate, when you say that. So.
Things that are out of your control. Do you feel like that's a preparation thing? Is it a bit of luck? What do you put that down to?
Look, you'd like to think it's good management, but it is good luck as well. and it's a testament to the work that the physios, doctors, performance team have done. So far, so good on that front, but things can turn around pretty quickly. So we'll just hold our breath and hope that we get a good run of it.
Obviously, we're in a hub at the moment. We're doing different things like travelling 2 hours to Metricon Stadium the day before the game, walking a long way to the team room. Do little things like that concern you at all as a performance manager?
I think if you make a big deal of it, they become a big deal. So they don't really concern me. We're conscious of it, but I think they're fine. Things like that. It's quite a pleasant walk around the hub here. So yeah, no problem.
Goody said last week we don't intend on resting any players during the next 5 games. Is that coming from your advice?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we can get through it. I think at the end of these 5 games there might be a different story, but from what we know of the draw, which is only up until a Collingwood game, I think our guys should be able to handle it pretty well. There might be specific cases as games come up, but I think we'll be able to handle it okay.
Do you look at players differently, like maybe a young Jacko or Cozzy and people that have had different backgrounds?
Sure, yeah, that's a really good point, and we know that some guys will be able to handle it better, and then we can adjust their training schedule. But my job and our job as a performance team is to give Goody his best team available each week, so that it gives us the best chance of winning.
In terms of the actual matches so far, even on the weekend against Brisbane, it looks like we're running out the games pretty well. 3 goal to none last quarter. Is that a reflection of the fitness in the group?
Look, those last quarters look good to media and things like that, but if you sort of get outworked for 3 quarters and then outwork another team in the last quarter, you only win one of those quarters. So it's good. It's really promising, and we have certainly on the weekend the boys ran out the game really, really well. So hopefully that continues. But generally the metrics that we look at are the overall game rather than just specifically the last quarter. But yeah, it's good signs for sure.
And how much of that fitness is, I guess, above the shoulders? Is it the belief that they can actually run out the game?
I think if they look around and they see that there's some individual acts happening in that last quarter, Jay Lockhart running through the middle, or Vin carrying 3 people on his back to get out of a stoppage. I think that does motivate people and adds to the belief. So yeah, it's as much above the shoulders as it is, the miles in the legs that they've done.
We know this 2020 season is pretty crazy. Do you think it is going to be a battle of the fittest at some point, just to get in the 8, to win finals, and late in the season eventually win the premiership?
I think if you can, even if you just scrape into the finals, you've got just as much chance as long as you've got a fit list and belief within your playing group. So I think this year, seemingly more than any other, it will be a real fitness test, above and below the shoulders for sure.
And are you confident that this group's got it in them?
Yeah, absolutely. Got full belief in the playing group. They've been incredible. Their versatility, their ability to take on any of the challenges, whether it's, we've been shifted around as much as any other team in terms of different hubs and different scenarios, and the Essendon game being cancelled, we're not going to get a bye like every other team will get, and they've just embraced that and said, bring it on. So yeah, I'm confident.
Very good. Looking forward to seeing it playing out. Thanks for joining us on the Talking Points, Berger.
No worries, Ben. Cheers, mate.